All right, what is going on, good people? Back at it again. Flock Nation Speaks, your Baltimore Ravens podcast that covers the best team in NFL history. If you're a Ravens fan, of course. And it's crazy because it's what about 8:03 on the dot when you think about it. And the schedule, the official schedule for the Baltimore Ravens, has been released. And I tell you what, man, it's kind of exciting. It's kind of exciting. It's always an exciting time to see who the Ravens play. And kind of see like what's gonna go down. We're gonna go through the games real quick and see what y'all see what y'all think about. This is my first look at the schedule too, so this will be fun. What game are you most excited for? What game are you kind of like? I don't know. They could have kept it on the schedule, right? So let's take a look at it. Let's take a look at it and see what we got. Um, I know it's just like this is like I said, this is the first time I'm looking at it. Of course, no preseason games on this one, but we do got the regular season matchups. So we starting out week one with the Texans, right? Week one with the Texans, then we go week two to the Bengals, which should be fun. That's a early, that's one of those early AFC North matchups where, neither team is probably ready for the other at the time, but it's still a lot of fun when you get a chance to go against your AFC North opponents. And then of course you got Anthony Richardson going up against the defense of the Ravens. What does that mean? How is that going to be? That's going to be a lot of fun. And then of course too, you got the Browns in week four. I'm trying to see, no primetime games so far out of these, and then after that, you got the Steelers in week five, which I think is nice. I don't know about y'all, but last year it felt like for some reason, it felt like we didn't play. Like the Steelers game was so late down the schedule, but at the same time, the Steelers games was like almost like back to back. It felt like I think we had like a game, had the Steelers game, the bye, another game, and then the Steelers game or something. It was something like that. It might have been flip flopped or whatever, but still kind of cool. Still cool to see. Seeing the Browns and then the Steelers, that'll be interesting. And then following that up with the Titans. Last year it felt like we played the Steelers and then we was right back into tough competition again, which is crazy. But um, so you got the Titans, who of course once again another rookie quarterback or a young quarterback, because I think their plans are to kind of kick the boot on on our boy Ryan Tannehill. So we'll see if that actually happens. But you know, Ryan Tannehill over there, he gonna be, so he might be on another team. It might not be the same old Ravens Titans rivalry that we're used to seeing. So that'll be interesting. And then when you go to the Lions, that's always a tough one, especially with the Ravens. They got to cook the 67-yard field goals and by hook or by crook get the win. But we'll see how that one goes. And of course, almost forgot the Titans game ain't even in America. It's in the UK. It's in London. So those London games, especially I think for Ravens fans, I think we all feel like you don't know what to expect when you get them London games, bro. Them London games, you don't know how flat you're gonna come out in the game. Like it's definitely gonna be interesting. And then on top of that, you got the Cardinals, which I think the Cardinals probably still gonna be a tough matchup, but the Cardinals gonna have a rough go of it this year because Kyler gonna just be coming back off the ACL, and I don't think he'll be back by the time we play them in Week 8. And I don't know. It's still a tough game because of the defense that they got, but I think that's one of those where it's kind of like you don't really know. There's one of those where it could be like kind of like a trap game almost, but we'll see. We'll see. Then of course, um, shoot, I didn't take it now. And then of course we got the Seahawks, which I think one of the more infamous games of recent history, with the Seahawks game way back when 2019 with the MVP season and stuff like that. That was fun. Shout out to Boogie Non EJ. We got four primetime games. Okay. He said, I think the Dolphins game gets flexed depending on how good the Dolphins are. I can see that. I can see that because I think the Dolphins are going to be good. Especially if Tua is back and healthy. Dolphins Ravens is just one of those things. It's not a rivalry, but it's fun, right? It's not a rivalry, but you just expect a good game out of Dolphins Ravens. You just do, or you expect the Ravens to come out flat in that too. Like it's crazy because they had the game a couple years ago where they was just flat and they couldn't figure out nothing on Thursday night. They had the freaking barn burner of a game last year that I went to in person, which was, I mean, an awesome game, crazy comeback, just ridiculous. And then, this year is kind of like one of those things where it's kind of the pressure's on for the Ravens, right? The pressure is on for the Ravens to beat the Dolphins because to beat the Dolphins, it's like for whatever reason, the Dolphins just got outnumbered. I'm gonna go through the games real quick too. Let me go through all the rest of the games and then I'll kind of give my little synopsis of them. So then we got the Browns, then the Bengals, then the Chargers. It's a tough little stretch right there. Then we got the bye in week 13. That feels like a late bye. I feel like we had an early bye. I feel like the Ravens had an early bye last year. If that feels like a really late bye. Then you got the Rams. It's one of them you never know. Talk about it here in a second. Jaguars in week 15, week 16. San Francisco 49ers, that's tough too. The Dolphins at 17, like Boogie was saying, it's kind of one of those things where it's like, that could get flexed. I'm trying to see. I can't see what time it is right up top. So it's at 1 o'clock right now. But yeah, that could get flexed. That could even get flexed like a 4 o'clock game or something like that. Especially that late in the season. We know the AFC about to be crazy competitive. So that's going to be interesting too. And then in and out with the Pittsburgh Steelers. I'm a little surprised they didn't try to go with the Bengals again or the Browns just because Deshaun Watson actually being back. That is another one of those things where that's a big deal. You got Deshaun Watson, he's back. What is he gonna do? How good is he gonna be? Where what kind of Browns team are we gonna get this year? So you got that too. You got that Deshaun Watson effect with that Week 18 game. I'm kind of surprised that they went Steelers. I know they like the Ravens Steelers at the end of the season. Like I know they like that, but whatever. I know they like that, but I mean, I don't know. And I'm not saying the Steelers aren't going to be good because I think they will be. Because is there ever a year where the Steelers aren't good? That's they're going to be competitive regardless. But back to it, going back down the list again. So of course, starting out with the Texans. So this defense getting a chance to kind of feast a little bit on a young Houston Texans team, a young team that I think is going to slowly find their way throughout. But to see CJ Stroud first week he get a chance to get the pads on. I feel like for whatever reason I think CJ Stroud gonna have a little chip on his shoulder too. To see him in this game, in the week 1, I think that's going to be interesting. I think that's going to be interesting. It could be definitely a win. It should definitely be a winnable start to the season. The Bengals, I feel like the Bengals, for whatever reason, I think the Ravens end up having an advantage over the Bengals earlier in the season as opposed to late in the season. Sometimes that's because of injuries, but more than likely, especially when it's like a week 2 game, because I think, because even last year, I feel like we played them really early and, they weren't really prepared for the arsenal we were about to throw at them. So I think playing the Bengals early is always good, always advantageous for the Ravens. So, I mean, I think you could be looking at 2-0 right there. And then the Colts going to be tough. But you could be looking at a 3-0 start right there with that one, right? The Colts going to be tough with Anthony Richardson and all the young guys that they got. But also, it's kind of like I said just now with week 1, you got a young rookie quarterback going up against this defense. And I know all the pieces aren't together. That's the cool part about kind of the schedule at least being so early is you can kind of get these knee-jerk reactions, like, based off of the potential of what the season can be. And this one, I think, could be a good game because the Colts, for whatever reason, no matter who they got, no matter what quarterback they got, they always get a Ravens a game. I think it's that Baltimore Colts thing they got going on. But they always end up giving us a game. So I think, albeit I think this could be a tough game, I think we can see the Ravens go 3-0 throughout the first three weeks of the season. And then the Browns, I think they'll beat the Browns the first time at least. it's just one of the it's just gonna be one of those things. I think the Browns gonna still be kind of finding their rhythm a little bit by week 4, especially against this defense. After they've gelled, this defense is gonna be crazy. Boogie, I ain't even got to the bye yet, but I see what you're saying. Boogie said the Ravens will go undefeated into the bye. I can see that, just like glancing at it, but let's see, because that would be what, 12-0 if they did that. That would be 12-0. Okay, I can see that. I can see that maybe. Let me continue to go down because I kind of just want to see, like, because the Steelers is another one of those tough ones, but I think for whatever reason the Ravens tend to beat the Steelers the first time, but not the second time. For some reason, the Ravens love to split with the Steelers. I don't know what it is. I wish they would just beat them, be done with them, and just, just wipe your hands. But they won't do that. So I think the Steelers. I agree. Kind of with Boogie on that one. I agree. Like, I think that's 5-0 right there. The Titans. See, this is one of those where the Ravens will lose just because they come out flat. But I think even in London, even with the travel and all that, like, I don't think it's gonna matter. I don't think it's gonna matter. I think with the travel and everything, I don't think it's gonna matter because you still playing a rookie Q. You playing, let me see. You playing either a rookie QB, or you playing somebody probably inexperienced in some way, because they really going away from Ryan Tannehill. Now this could be, the knockdown drag out Titans that we used to if they continue to, yeah, Lamar does struggle with the Steelers for what I don't know if it's like lack of experience against the Steelers. It's probably a little bit too, like, the Steelers mix it up. The Steelers know the Ravens better than anybody, and that's just from an offensive philosophy standpoint. But I think this Todd Monken offense, I think it's got all the potential of being really special, really good. And you're saying he struggles with the Steelers, but I think by week 5, I think he'll be in his groove. I think he'll be in his groove. I think we're gonna see some of the best Ravens football against the Steelers in quite some time. There's something about this Todd Monken offense I'm excited about. I think I'm just excited for the newness of it. It's just gonna be something different. We've been seeing this Greg Roman run pass style of offense, sometimes run punt style of offense for so long. I want to see these new wrinkles that Todd Monken is gonna put in there. Yeah, and I think we're going back to the. I think you saying the Steelers, right? The Steelers gives us a tough time. Yeah, they do. Between them and the Titans, yeah, that could go for both of them. The Steelers and the Titans give us a tough time, and to play them back to back like that with the travel across the pond and stuff. Hey, you never know, man. You never know. That's the thing. Like, you never know. But I mean, I think I can see 6-0 right there, right? I can see 6-0 through the first. Through the first 6 weeks, and then I'm gonna pull it back up real quick. I can see 6-0 right there. I could see 6-0. I think I like it better like that. Yeah, I can see 6-0 right there, right? I can see 6-0. So we getting there, and then the Lions are gonna be tough because they're always tough, but this is a winnable game. This is a game that the Ravens should win. They should take care of business on this one. The Cardinals, that's another game. They should take care of business on this one. Right, 425 game, kind of interesting. Right, we don't get a lot of them. Ravens do not get a lot of them at all. So kind of interesting, but kind of a team that's going to have some missing pieces. The Ravens should take care of business against the Cardinals. Then you got the Seahawks. That's a tough one, right? This is one of those where it's like, that's a little tough. The Seahawks is tough because the Seahawks, depending on which Geno Smith we get, right? Are we going to get the same Geno Smith we got last year, or did he just take everybody by storm last year, right? Like, because he had been away for so long, you hadn't seen him play for so long. I mean, we'll see, but I think that's a winnable game too. They got a good defense. They got a good defense. That's at home too. I think because you ain't got to travel to the 12th man, like that's a whole another thought process too. Like, just makes you think. And then the Browns rematch. See, this is when I kind of get into my mode of like the Ravens can split. Like, I can see them beating the Browns, the Bengals, and the Chargers back to back weeks like that. But if there's a stretch of games where the Ravens going to lose in this first 13 weeks, I think it's going to be in this stretch of games, right? It's going to be in the stretch of games where you see the Browns, the Bengals, and the Chargers, right? And I lean towards the Bengals just because, the Bengals are good enough, right? The Bengals are good enough to where you will split with them, right? More than likely. You more than likely going to split with them. You more than likely going to split with the Steelers, right? More than likely. Now, my hope is they come through and do what they got to do. But let's just put a loss in here somewhere, right? I think they win 2 or 3 of these, right? So that's 6, 9, 10, 11. So that's 11-1 right there. Out of the first 13 weeks, that's 11-1, right? I think the Chargers game could be tough because not only have they added new talent, but at the same time they got a new offensive coordinator. There's potential there with them. There's definitely potential there with them. But then, we'll see, right? We'll see. I think they'll split one of those, at least in the division, right? At least in the division, I think they'll lose one of these games. Browns or Bengals. The Browns always tend to play the Ravens tough, and so do the Bengals. So, if they're going to drop one, it's going to be one of them. I think it depends on what Rams team you get after the bye week. But the Ravens are historically really good after the bye week. So I'm going to say even in a tough matchup, they beat the Rams too, right? I think even in a tough matchup, they beat the Rams. I think they get that revenge game on the Jaguars. The Niners will be tough. The Niners will be tough. This is a tough little back half stretch, right? This is a tough little back half stretch. San Francisco, Miami, and then you got Pittsburgh. That's a tough little back half stretch right there. I ain't gonna lie to you. But I think they'll beat probably San Francisco with their kind of quarterback woes and the defense that's playing on the other side. I think they'll finally get past Miami. Right, I think they'll finally get past Miami, and I think for some crazy reason the Steelers will beat the Ravens in the last week of the season. For some crazy reason, I don't know what it is, but just knee jerk reacting straight off the schedule from what I see. But the Ravens could go on a little run at the end of the season those last 3 weeks, and then maybe drop 2 of those 3 when it was the Browns, Bengals, and Chargers. Right, they could drop those games too. So I don't know. Like I said, I love the schedule release because you just kind of get it makes you feel like you're closer and closer to the season, but you're so far away. You so far away, but it's kind of interesting just to see, like you're gonna see C.J. Stroud. That's that entire just ridiculously young AFC South, right? Like. You're going to see C.J. Stroud and possibly Will Levis, Anthony Richardson. You're going to see some top quarterbacks in this recent draft class, and they're going to get a chance, too, to see a good defense, to see a good secondary, to see it, hopefully see a good pass rush, right? They're going to get a chance to see a good, well-coached defense. So that'll be interesting. And then, of course, we know the division games, they can go either way. The whole year, all year long, they can go either way. You never know what's going to happen with the division games. And then, kind of those couple games here and there, kind of like the Chargers. The Chargers is one of them. I'm trying to think the Dolphins, right? Those kind of random sporadic games. Those are interesting, right? Who knows, right? Who knows what'll happen in those games? But honestly, like by my prediction, what's that? By my prediction, that is 16-1. Am I wrong about that? 17, yeah, 6. So I think that's 15-2, not 16-1. Tripping, right? 15-2. Which I think the ceiling is probably better than that. I think the ceiling for what the Ravens can be is better than that. Going undefeated is hard, and I think that's why it's so hard to predict going undefeated. But is it possible? Absolutely. We've seen it over years past. Like the Ravens can compete and play with anybody. Now, like you said, the execution is going to be kind of the thing, and it's going to be interesting to see too, like if they start slow in the first couple weeks because of this new offense, right? This new offense, people in different places, miscommunication, stuff like that, or is it going to be like a well-oiled machine? Be interesting to see if Todd Monken kind of does that little like ease in the offense type thing. Don't throw too much at him at one time. But I think this could be a good. A really good season for the Ravens. I think it'll be a lot of fun. I think it should be a lot of fun. Some fun, some fun teams in there in the schedule release. If you haven't taken a look at it, be sure to take a look at it. Give your thoughts down below. What you think? What you think? Like I said, I think the ceiling is 15-2. I think the floor. If I gotta look at it for real, the floor. So I think honestly, I think the floor is splitting with the Bengals. So that's one loss. I think the floor is. I would say this: the Ravens floor is splitting with the Bengals. That's one. Splitting with the probably the Steelers over the Browns, but let's say splitting with the Browns too. So that's two. And in a crazy turn of events, probably somehow losing one of these other extra games. So like losing San Fran, Miami, maybe Seattle, right? Like I don't think they'll lose to the Chargers, but they could, right? Like I think San Fran could be one, right? I think that's three, right? I think at worst they lose 5 games, right? I think they split through the division and lose a couple games throughout the way, right? I think at worst. I think the ceiling could possibly be undefeated, as crazy as that sounds. But I mean, if you look at the schedule, the Ravens have shown that they can compete and win against any of these teams. The matter is going to be execution, and are they ready to execute from day one, right? Are they ready to execute depending on what happens with possible injuries and stuff like that? You just never know. You just never know at that point in the season. So we'll see. Of course, there'll be more scheduled talk coming up. Next couple weeks and whatnot, and it should be a lot of fun. I definitely I'm excited. What game? I'll leave you with this, right? I ask you, what game are you most looking forward to? And I'll leave you with the game that I'm most looking forward to, and then I'll sign off. So the game I'm most looking forward to, honestly, it's probably see, and I like look at me cheating again. I feel like I think it might be the Chargers. Because there's a part of me that's really excited about playing these rookie QBs and just seeing what CJ Stroud can do, seeing what Anthony Richardson can do, seeing what potentially Will Levis or Malik Willis can do, right? Like that's exciting to me just because it's kind of, it's always cool to see kind of next guard or quarterbacks and what they're going to do. But at the same time, like we all know, talent-wise, position skill-wise, the LA Chargers are one of the most talented teams in the league, right? On paper, they compete, right? On paper, they may not do it in like legit, like they gonna actually compete, but on paper they compete. So I'd say the Chargers, right? And it sounds crazy, but I mean, you're gonna have to probably get through the Chargers some form or another. When it comes to and to be able to beat the Chargers, I think if you beat the Chargers, you can beat the Bengals, right? Because they just as talented. They probably like 1A, 1B when it comes to like offensive talent. That your defense has to face. So that'll be interesting. That'll be interesting. I mean, of course, the revenge game against the Bengals I would be one too. But as always, definitely hope you guys enjoyed the show. Once again, you can always listen to or watch Flock Nation Speaks. I'm on all your major podcasting platforms: Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, all your favorite ones. I don't know why we say we, but I guess we Fly Nation, we speaking to each other. We own it, right? So definitely hope you guys enjoyed. Be sure to follow me on Twitter if you want to kind of interact. FN Speaks Podcast. So be sure to follow me on that too. Let me know. You can let me know in the comments. You can let me know. Let me know on Twitter if you want. However you want to do it. Just let me know, what game are you most looking forward to in this 2023 season. As always, definitely hope you guys enjoyed the show. I'll see you guys on the next one. Until next time.